Hello everyone and welcome back to the Retro Recall. I hope you're doing awesome. It's been a little while since we've done a Thrift Finds video, but here we are. To be honest with you, there hasn't been a whole lot in the thrift stores that I normally go to, the different type of donation centers as well as online marketplace. I look at all these places and I look for different type of unique finds or things I'd like to be able to showcase on the channel, etc. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find a whole lot, but the things that I did find, hopefully you'll enjoy on today's episode. So you know what? We have lots to do as always. Let's get right to it. Welcome back. Item number one. As you know on this channel, I like to collect media, especially blank media, anything that's new and things like that. In this case, we have good old VHS. And you know, I have lots of VHS players and I've been wanting to do a video on VHS specifically. I just don't know exactly what I would do outside of just showcasing the actual VCRs themselves. So if you have any ideas, let me know down in the comments down below. I'd be happy to accommodate. So in this particular case, we have two VHS tapes here. So we have two Memorex SHQ, so super high quality T120 VCR tapes, VHS. And I like collecting these because, you know, you never know when they're going to stop making them. I mean, you can still get these today. And, you know, because I have so many VCRs, I'd like to be able to keep that format alive. Or if I ever decide to cut ties with it, at least that way, whoever gets these have lots of options available. And of course, what goes along with those, remember these guys? The video cleaning cassette system. So you basically take this this little solution here, which 9 times out of 10 was isopropyl alcohol. You pour it into this little slot here, which would help lubricate the cleaners. Let me see if I can open this up. There we are. And it's just a felt kind of ribbon that goes along the heads inside the VCR. And you put it in and you can hear it playing against the heads. And yeah, it just basically cleans it. Saves you from having to take the whole unit apart and clean inside, you know, to get rid of that fuzziness that you're seeing. And that's generally what I had done in the past. I would take them, you know, these, put it all in, put the solution in, play it, and generally it would clean up. Only recently I started to clean up the actual units by opening them up. And remember these guys, the good old cases that you could get to store your movies in. If for whatever reason you didn't want to use a little slip cover that came with them, or you had a different type of case or a broken case, and you could use one of these. And also often in movie rental stores like Blockbuster, etc., you could this is what they came in, and you'd be able to take them home because they're durable. So that's pretty awesome. All right, let's move on to the next item. Okay, and keeping in the media range, we have item number 2. We have iOmega Zip 250 megabyte discs for PC and Mac. We have 4 of them in this particular box here, and as you can see, they're still sealed. And again, falling in line with the same logic we had before with the VHS tapes, being able to get any sort of media, specifically ones that, you know, they don't really make them anymore, and the ones you do get are generally new old stock. So it's nice to be able to find these in the wild and essentially use them or have them for any sort of the drives that I have. So again, trying to keep the format alive the best I can. And yeah, just really cool to see these. And again, we'll definitely put these to use in one of my drives. Okay, let's move on to our next item. Okay, and here we have a couple of optical drives. And when I'm out in the wild and I'm looking around, I mean, I see optical drives all the time. I have tons of them, between the e-waste stock that I pick up all the way to ones I'm seeing laying on shelves. And so I generally only pick drives that either I don't have, or if they're beige and in really, really good condition. Now, I don't have a lot of opportunity to test them where I am, and generally these are only a couple bucks a drive, so it's not that big of a loss if that was the case. However, at the same token, you know, just I look at the drive itself and just look for general looks. And I like these particular drives because it is a 52 speed burner, as you can see, CDRW drive, and it is made by Light On Corp. And I mean, the model number is right here, LTR 52327S. This particular model was made May 2003. So, I mean, we're putting it in 21-year-old drive, but just look at the condition of it. It's an absolutely superior condition, and still IDE as well, which is nice, which is actually, quite frankly, harder to get. As I'm going through thrifting and I'm doing different things like that, online marketplaces, and I'm looking around, IDE drives, specifically when I'm restoring retro PCs, it's becoming harder to get. And this drive right here, we have a Sony drive. The model number is CRX230A. And this particular drive caught my eye because it is a Sony. And I love the red writing that's on the front of the beige bezel here. So we have Sony, and we have compact disc rewritable ultra speed 523252, which is the same speed as this Light On drive. But again, it being a Sony really caught my eye, and it's in excellent condition by the looks of things. And even if these don't work right away, I mean, there's a bunch of things you can do to get them going again. Generally, the belts go in them, assuming that they're not made of high quality. And then, of course, on the back, we do have our IDE interface as well, which will always catch my eye going forward. And of course, we have an LG 18X Super Multi DVD Writer with LightScribe. So you have DVD plus or minus R18 speed writing speed, 8.5 gigabytes of double layer 10X or dual layer 10X discs, and then we also have extra ivory bezel included. To be honest with you, I haven't opened this, so I don't know. I know the drive's in here, that's what I knew, but I didn't really open it any further. So let's open this up and look. So we have what looks like a brand new bezel for sure. We have our LG, there we go. We have our LG LightScribe drive front bezel with our frame there. So it's nice to have the complete unit for this, especially you don't have to retro bright it because it's already done for you, considering it's brand new. And let's look at the drive itself and find out what is in the box here. So we have a package, just empty package. It's a CD-ROM drive, and that's it. So I flopped. I don't have, this doesn't look like to be the LG 18X Super Multi DVD drive. So unfortunately, that's what it is. Just says it's a regular CD-ROM. That's what it is, and that's fine, because I do have other drives like this, and I could definitely use the bezel. So even if it, I think you saw the price on the front of it was $2. So you see that, for $2, I still have a CD-ROM drive that is, I believe, IDE. Yeah, so we do have an IDE interface, so I'm happy with that. And of course, we do have the Super Multi. We have the front bezel here, the beige one, so I could easily convert one of the other LG drives I have that are identical to this, just in the that has the black bezel on it. So really still not a loss, but you can see while you're thrifting, it's important to check through what you're buying, because obviously it's harder to return that sort of thing. But fortunately, I can still utilize these two items. All right, let's move on to our next item. Okay, and we have a DV Firewire card. Looks like to be PCI, and it says here, add 3+1 internal Firewire ports and edit digital video. Package includes 6-pin to 4-pin DV cable, ULED video studio software for digital video editing. So, I mean, back in the day, Firewire was definitely the method of choice for copying from digital cameras, digital video cameras, etc., and being able to copy the data very quickly to your computer versus earlier versions of USB and other methods. And so this is a retail plus version. Again, it's new old stock, so that's what attracted me to this. Plus, I don't have any Firewire cards, at least I don't think so. Generally, they're just Firewire ports that were built into the computer itself. So having a separate PCI is definitely cool, and it'll be really interesting, especially with any sort of media center PC, like that HP that I have, or going down the road of if I get an older type of video camera that accepts Firewire, being able to test out that that interface. So I think that's pretty darn cool. So it says fully IE 1394 compliant. As you see, we do see a lot of those on the cases already because they started to build these into computers. So plug and play, add the extra Firewire ports easily, supports data transfer rates of 400 megabits per second, live connect, disconnect, hot plugging capability. I imagine not removing the card, but obviously the cable. And supports various input devices. So your PC camera, DVD, camcorder, hard disk drive, printer, TV, DVD, VCR, and more. And the fact that it comes with video editing software is awesome and supports AVI, MPEG-1, MPEG-2 output. So gives us our minimum system requirements here, Windows 98 and that 98 SE all the way to XP. One PCI slot and a Pentium 2 running 266 megahertz, but a Pentium 2 350 is recommended for DVD or DV and MPEG-2 capture and edit. So again, Retail Plus was a very generic brand. I remember these coming out back in the day, basically a third-party manufacturer of different products. And, you know, I bought a couple of their things, not a lot over the years, but it's interesting to see it again in the wild, and the fact that it's new old stock is pretty awesome. All right, let's move on to the next item. And here we are with our next item. We have the Gravis Firebird 2 programmable joystick. And I don't know if I paid $3 or $5 for this. I recently got this. And when I saw it in box, I just had to have it you know, the channel is about nostalgia and this retro tech. And to be honest with you, this is one of those items that I would have been walking, teenage me would have been walking down the Staples, the Business Depot aisles, the tech stores, the Walmarts of the world, and seeing this, you know, up sitting next to a Microsoft Sidewinder joystick. You know, I just would be wanting one of these, but I couldn't afford them. So we have the dynamic keyboard control, programmable hat switch, easy to command, 1-year warranty, and a 5-star computer life, apparently, November 1996. It looks like a sticker that's been added to that, so I'm not sure what exactly that was from. It plays with Windows 95, so that's nice to see. And over here, we have the total control at your fingertips. Our system requirements, it just requires a 286 or higher, so pretty straightforward. You have 13 programmable buttons for dynamic keyboard control. Keep your hands off the controls and off the keyboard. T-grip throttle and elevator trim adjuster for realistic flight control, so definitely happy to have that for any sort of flight simulators. 8-way programmable hat switch, so you never have to take your eyes off the action. And comfort pistol grip with hand rest lets you play longer in comfort. And of course we have adjustable handle, tension guarantees control that feels right. So yeah, definitely awesome. Again, just seeing this out in the wild, I just wanted to have it. Quite dusty, of course, but that's okay. Let's open it up and see what is inside. Hopefully the joystick's inside. That'd be very disappointing, of course. Let's see what we have. And we do have the joystick in here. So let's take that out. And of course we have, it looks like an agreement, but nothing inside of it. That's unfortunate, but that's okay. And so here we have the joystick. So you can actually, by looks of things, it does have a PS2 and DIN 5 kind of pass through going on here. So you could connect it that way. I think it's for power. I think that's probably what that does, is provide power. And then of course we have the 15-pin game port there as well. But yeah, definitely nice feeling when you're using this kind of joystick, and especially for a flight simulator and things like that, for different levels, your trim and your different controls. And obviously this works for various games. The drivers for this are online, so I'm not worried about not being able to connect this. Not to mention if you connect to something that's older than Windows 95 or even in the Windows 95 era, it probably works just fine because it probably has the drivers built into Windows. One of those things, teenage me would have been walking along the aisle and saying, I wish I could have one, and adult me is so happy to see it now. Okay, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next item. Okay, here we are with another item, and once in a while, once in a blue moon, as the expression goes, I do find what looks like a decent notebook PC at a thrift store. And this particular one would have been at my local thrift store as well. It looks like a compact laptop. We have the nice compact embedded engraving here for the name. We also have it on the top lid. We also have our Alltech Lansing speakers as well, so that caught my eye. And very just nice, clean, slick design and compact. I'm telling you, the last couple compact videos I've done, definitely nice. Some of these systems are really nice. We have looks like our multi-bay drive here, USB, and I believe that is PS2. I'm pretty sure. And along the back here, we don't have many ports outside of some ventilation and power. And we'll talk about the power in a moment. And then of course we have our VGA. And I don't know if that's a removable section here. I'd have to look into that a little further. We have our Ethernet and our modem port, and we have another USB, and then of course our PC card here, and Kensington lock. So it's in really good shape. It says it supports Windows XP Home Edition. It is a compact Presario V as in Victor 2000. We have all the plastic covers with this unit. Sometimes they're missing. It looks like it does have the memory installed in this computer. I did take it apart earlier, but for whatever reason, I'm not able to get the computer booting. It's going to require some time. I did plug in the required voltage because it didn't have a power adapter with it. So I have several power adapters and some universal ones. So I did try that. Unfortunately, I can get it to power up for a few seconds and shuts down. So I'm going to have to do some, turn that into a video where we're going to try to restore this system and get it working. But definitely, I think worth the attempt because it's just a really good looking machine. So that compact in the front is actually the switch that opens up the laptop itself. So here we are. So it looks like we have a compact, as I said, a V2000, but it has all the original stickers on it. And you can see they're obviously starting to just come apart now because of the age of the system. But it says here it has a mobile AMD Sempron processor, 3000 plus. It has 1.8 gigahertz and engaged with 512 megabytes of memory, 60 gig hard drive, DVD plus minus RW, CDR to combo drive with dual layer support, and goes on about what you can do with it. And of course, this does come with the Windows XP, and it says graphics powered by ATI Radeon Express 200M is what is in there. But I mean, it does have the gloss screen, as you can see here. I'm not a huge fan of that. But yeah, in terms of an entry-level PC or home PC, definitely in really good shape. I mean, this is obviously a little more dirty than the outside is. This would be something I feel that would be a nice restoration video to do and get this computer up and running. Again, just let me know in the comments you'd like to see that. I'm happy to do so. All right, let's move on to our next item. And here we are with our next item, and you cannot have a Thrift Finds video without some keyboards. So before anyone makes comments about why I have black electrical tape on here, it's because there's a bunch of company's address information on here. And so here we are, we have an Acer keyboard. It looks like a PS2 keyboard. And anytime I have access to a beige keyboard, that's one thing, but this is a mechanical keyboard. Yes, it is an absolute mechanical keyboard. I mean, it's filthy as all get out, but definitely worth restoring. And, being able to take all the keys off and give them a good bath and clean the underneath would definitely be worth it. I mean, I always liked Acer growing up. Their Acer PCs and peripherals, they really made good stuff. It later became A-Open and other brands, but again, just the feel of the keyboard is really natural, and it being mechanical is really awesome. Now, I mean, this is something that obviously I found in a bin and I saw and I thought was really cool. And then I was out last weekend, and to be honest with you, I saw this on a shelf. And I've never seen a Samsung keyboard, to be honest with you. I've always seen, different types of keyboards, but not Samsung. So we have the SDM, as you get rid of the glare there, SDM 4510P. It's an IBM PS2, Windows 98 all the way to XP compatible. Hotkey for multiple function user convenience, MP3, CD, video player, free software update through a website. And then of course it has all the different functions laid out there. And then we have our branding, look, designed for Microsoft Windows ME, everybody, our favorite operating system. Okay, and along the back here, we just have a bunch more information about the keyboard and a picture of it there. So in itself, generally when I'm out in the wild and I find that these keyboards are out there, and especially in a box, I really don't look at them or don't think about them. But for whatever reason, I open this up and look at this. I'll open it up. It is brand new old stock. And I just thought that was absolutely amazing. For a couple bucks, I just saw this and I thought, okay, I definitely want to have that as part of the collection. So we have our Internet Keyboard software. So it comes directly with our software, and imagine this is the drivers for the hotkeys and things like that. We have that palm rest there as well for comfort. And then of course we have the actual keyboard itself. Let's open up the keyboard here, and there we are. So we have that nice keyboard feel and nice fresh smell. I mean, it's brand new. It feels a little soft. I mean, obviously it's not mechanical like the Acer over here, but it's in really good shape. And then, having that nice, and it's not a bad looking keyboard either, to be honest with you. So definitely happy to see that. And yeah, it's just really cool to have one of these, especially being beige. And, you know, definitely they started changing over to different colors and things like that over the years. But yeah, I'm just like to have this as part of the collection. And here we are with the next item. And of course we can't have a Thrift Finds video without box software. And I came across this in the wild and I just thought it was absolutely awesome. Having WordPerfect for DOS absolutely sealed in original packaging, word processing software for IBM personal computers and PC networks. I think that's pretty awesome to have. You know, this is one of those things that I used growing up. You know, we had an old computer, friend's computer, and yeah, being able to use this in DOS was pretty darn neat. And it shows, you know, you can use the mouse for only quick cursor movement, but only to access WordPerfect functions. So yeah, I mean, back then it was definitely a wild west for the word processing market. So word processing software for IBM personal computers, PC networks, 5.25-inch diskettes, version 5.1 for DOS. And, you know, remember the old keyboards that had the kind of the guide on the top there? It was the WordPerfect guide and short keys for the function keys. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if this was wrapped up inside here to put along your keyboard like a template. And also, I mean, it's quite hefty. I mean, obviously there's lots of books and manuals in here, and then of course the 5.25-inch discs. I don't plan on opening this. I think this is a piece of history. I think it's pretty awesome. It has the original WordPerfect seal of authenticity there, which is pretty nice. And, you know, again, I don't plan on doing anything with this because just adding it to the collection, because you can definitely get this on archive.org and it'd be cool to test it out again. But yeah, pretty neat. So in that same kind of area, we have the following. We have Microsoft MS-DOS 5. So it's BEC. I don't know if that's a company that would have distributed these or a computer manufacturer. So we have the MS-DOS version 5, and then you have the DOS symbol there as well. The logo, and then it says Microsoft DOS operating system version 5 is the most important version of the Microsoft DOS operating system in years. Gives applications in memory to use more older versions of DOS and takes the mystery out of DOS. For all levels of computer users, this is the version of DOS to own, especially if you use a Microsoft Windows graphical environment. So, you know, this is based back in 1991. That's pretty cool. Just, again, another piece of history. Now, in this particular case, we do have the software inside here. And again, there's also other software that would have came with this as well as a result of where I got this. There was some other floppy disks in there. I'm not going to display them just because a couple of them had some personal information in there that was part of this kit. But yeah, there we go. So we have Microsoft DOS operating system version 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 diskettes, and they're the 5.25, and they're just in absolutely pristine condition. And yes, just really awesome to have this in the collection. And here we are with our next item, and we have a Sun 15-inch LCD monitor. And I don't have hardly anything with Sun, and whenever I see this, I absolutely grab it. And the deal was right. I mean, we have a little bit of yellowing in the plastics. I mean, that's to be expected given the age of these monitors. But yeah, powers right up. It works great. And, you know, having a LCD panel for a Sun, now I have an old Sun 21-inch monitor CRT out in the storage area. And yeah, having an LCD is definitely very helpful to have. So we have the Sun serial number here, and I'm looking for a particular model number on this. And you can see the back of the monitor is just absolutely beautiful. There's zero yellowing on the back. L7ZF is the model of this monitor. So yeah, we have the ACM, we have DVI, and we have our D-sub connectivity there. Slowly getting some things with Sun. I have Sun keyboard and I have a Sun mouse, and you're going to see some things here on the channel shortly, but definitely nice to start to get some of these going and be able to save these from being sent to e-waste and destroyed. So definitely interesting to see and nice to have on the bench. All right, let's move on to our next item. Okay, and next is one of my, I guess, treasure hunted items that I've been looking for years, specifically around getting a MiniDisc player. I do have a couple portables, but never anything to do with a home stereo type environment. This is something that I have good fond memories of, only because I remember spending quite a bit of time in the Sony store up here in Canada, trying to convince my father to get one, and he never, ever, ever did, saying that MiniDisc is going to be a dying format. CD is where it is. And we ended up going down the CD route, and he was not wrong. But, you know, I just love the look and the idea of MiniDisc. And that's what this is. I mean, pop it in, pop in your MiniDisc in the player, and you're good to go. This model here is a Sony MDS JB920. So it has a whole bunch of different controls. You have to look this up on the manual online to see all the different features of the unit itself. But again, like I said, I've been looking for one of these for a long time. I believe this unit is from 1999, and the seller who sold it to me, I was really excited to contact him, and he said he still had it available, which was awesome, and it was a local find. And he gave me a super deal online, which is pretty awesome. And of course, including the disc, and you know, just again, really cool to see this technology. There's a really interesting thing about this unit itself is, let's swap it around the back here. You can see all the different connections here. So we have our line in and out, we have our S-Link control, we have our coaxial in and our coaxial out, and our optical in and optical out. So definitely give you lots of connections to be able to connect into this, specifically for recording to MiniDisc or playing off a MiniDisc to other sources. But the interesting thing is that this particular deck is 220, 230 volt AC. That's right. This is the European version. This is the, you know, what you'd find in other countries, not in Canada. So he did put in or throw in an adapter for us to our 110 adapter here. So you can see all the different connectors here. You just plug that into this and boom, you're good to go. And it transforms it down, steps it down from 220 to 110 and having the unit. And I power this up. It works great. And I'm very happy that, that I was able to get this. Now, it didn't end just there. I mean, I thought it did, to be honest with you. And again, keep in mind, I've been looking for one of these for a long time, and I wasn't willing to pay the hundreds and hundreds of dollars on eBay that everybody wanted. It also came with this unit. He threw in a Toslink cable, so we do have our digital audio cable there as well. But it also came with two, not one, but two MiniDisc Walkmans. I'm just astounded by this. Like I said, I had a couple of ones, but they're made by Sanyo and a couple other, you know, off brands, I would say. But this is a full MiniDisc player and comes with another MiniDisc media. So again, just thank you so much if you're watching. I know that I gave you the channel information and you said you were going to subscribe, but thank you so much to the seller who got this for me. I mean, you're obviously, this is a retro channel. This is from 1999, this stereo and this technology. And I definitely want to do something with this on the channel, not just stick with all just PCs and computers, because quite frankly, I love this format and I want to do some testing of audio recording and playing and getting this up and running and trying to test out the different decks. So I have some things on order because you can still get discs for this, probably new old stock. And if not, I believe Sony in Japan, you can get these as well. So pretty cool to be able to still order this stuff. So I've gone ahead and done that. So until that arrives, this will be on standby for now. Let's move on to our next item. All right, here we are with our next item. And how can you ever say no to a box copy sealed of Windows 95? This is a Windows 95 upgrade for Windows users of Windows. Comes with Microsoft Internet Explorer 4, so this would have been a slightly later version. Shows the CD-ROM version here, Microsoft Windows 95. And of course, our beautiful operating system you see on the back here. And, you know, I just love this box art. It's just, as soon as it stands out, you have so many great memories of back in the day, converting from Windows 3.1, and you saw this out on the shelves, everybody lining up to grab it. There was so much marketing and hype around it. Again, just when I see a box copy of that, I absolutely grab it. And what's really funny is you can find these, and I didn't find this over in the software or the computer section. This was over in the games section, just sitting there with a bunch of games, just sitting there in the pile of games, and I grabbed it. It was a couple bucks, and you luck out sometimes, and I was very fortunate to grab that. So really excited. I'm going to put this with the software collection, the big box software collection, and add it to, I do have a version that's on floppy, definitely a much heavier box than this is, of course, with 20 plus floppies, but again, really nice to have as well. So let's move on to our next item. And here we are with our next item, and I was really excited to get this as well in the to the Retro Recall. We have a premium AIC, it looks like, systems computer. I have no idea what this computer is. I have not opened it. The seller had no idea what this was either. It was an online marketplace in a city very close to where I live. And so I drove there, and when I saw it, I just asked him, I said, you know, hopefully I'm number one on the list. I wasn't, but the others didn't respond, so I was lucky to grab it. And it also came with a Dell Trinitron. I believe it's a 15 or a 17-inch monitor as well. I didn't show this on the video just because CRTs are so hefty. I didn't show it, but yeah, it did come with that as well. So he did state that the computer would turn on, but it would do nothing else. So I have no idea what that is or what that means, because again, I haven't powered it up myself. And so I want to do an actual video on this computer and see if we can get it working, see if we can get it restored, and see if we can get it going again. But we do have the 3.5-inch floppy, which looks to be original to the case because the yellowing is the exact same. The same thing with this 5.25-inch drive. Not sure what format that is in, 1.2 or 720. Hopefully it's, you know, I could use a couple 1.2 drives. And then we have an optical drive here as well. It looks like a compact disc. It says busy phones and volume control on the front. But if you look, you push it and it comes out. It's a manual release, and you open it up and you put in your disc. So I imagine this is probably a 1 or a 2-speed drive. I'd have to look into that a little further. But yeah, you just close that up and you put it in, and it's spring loaded. But it's nice that the mechanism is fully functional. Let's turn it around and take a look at the back of the computer. Naturally, I'll be doing this in the video when it comes to this, but I just can't not look at this on the Thrift Finds video. So we have our chonky power switch here, so on and off, and that works just fine by the feel of things anyway. And along the back here, now the first thing I think of is AT style for sure, because we do have the DIN 5, but you know, is it a 286? Is an, you know, a competitor to the IBM 5150 or 5150 series? I don't know. Like, we just don't know what's in this computer yet. And it's what's exciting about this. When I saw this, this is probably going to be one of the older computers that I have in my collection, and definitely want to get this scrubbed up and get this up and running. So we have our power supply. I love when they give the option to be able to hook up the monitor to the computer as well. That power supply looks to be quite chunky there as well. And we have a couple of expansion breakouts that we have screwed in. We have our DIN 5 keyboard connector. And I'm just looking to see if there's any sort of battery leakage here or anything like that. I don't know if these came with batteries. Not sure if there's one in here or it's already damaged, has already been done, but I'm not seeing anything released. Usually I see it around the keyboard port. A couple communications port, looks like a game port and a printer port, VGA cable, at least I think it is. And then we have a couple audio ports and a sound card as well. I am very tempted to open this up, but we're going to have to stay tuned to another video where we actually focus in on this computer. All right, let's move on to our next item. Okay, and here is our final item in this Thrift Finds video. We do have a Sun Microsystems Ultra 5. So Ultra Spark driven down here in the writing, but I have had no experience with Sun systems, but I do remember going when I was much younger, walking around office places with my brothers and seeing these sort of systems in higher end tech companies. And I'm really interested in getting into these. And I can't wait to hear the comments on this video specifically. You're able to let me know of some really cool things we can do with this system, but I'm going to do a dedicated video just to this computer. I believe it deserves it. Now, it also came with a few accessories that I'm not showing on the camera today. I'm going to save that for that video, but definitely a lot of external peripherals came with this as well. It was a full system, full working system that came out of a local university. So I'm really happy to have this. I promised the sellers when I bought this, they negotiated a really good deal with me on the whole kit. I have black tape here as well because, again, there's some of that sticker with some serial information that could identify where it came from. And I also want to completely wipe what's on the drive. I promised them I would do that before doing anything with this computer. So for now, we're just going to take a look at it and kind of just gawk at it and see what it's like. But yeah, it's just in really, really good shape. I mean, it does have yellowing, and I mean, that's to be expected given the age of the system. But it looks like we have a tape drive here as well, and as well as a floppy disk drive. So we do have the dual bay here, or I should say, we do have two drives here. And we also have a CD-ROM drive. Just looks like a generic Probably a 4-speed or 8-speed. I don't know what year this would have came out, this particular model, but again, I know nothing about these computers. I'm being completely honest with everybody. I do have a great resource available to me that's going to help me walk through these things. And but again, I really want to hear from everybody down in the comments about your experience with these, because this just interests me, because it's one of those computer lines I never really got into or did anything with. And so by seeing it here, I'm really excited to be able to try it out. So, and I did test this model out. I did plug it in, and it did. I was able to get it booted, no problem. So that's really, really good sign. So you can see here we have some audio jacks. We have what looks like a PS2 port here. We have what looks like built-in Ethernet, but we also have here, I mean, these are PCI expansion ports. It says PCI written right on the back of the computer, but it looks like a external SCSI connector, which I do have an external device that plugs here. We also have, it looks like communications. So we have a COM port and a printer port. Or do we have, it says there's two. Is it hook up two? Is it two parallel ports? What is this? So again, I'm relying on everybody to let me know about this. We have built-on graphics by the looks of things, and another Ethernet port here as well. So that may not actually be Ethernet here. This looks more like Ethernet. So, everyone let me know what this is. It might be Ethernet, but used for a different purpose. But again, I think it's really neat having a Sun computer on the channel, just because this is something that I don't see every day, not something that I see out there. And when I had access to getting it, again, just keeping word to the seller, my word to the seller that I'm going to get this all wiped and formatted and cleaned up and get this all restored. So it'll be really exciting to get this up and running. But yeah, I'm waiting to hear your ideas down below, and let me know what you think about that. All right, let's go to the outro. And here we are at the conclusion of episode number 4 of Thrift Finds, and I'm very excited to have all these on the bench and for everyone to enjoy on the channel. I'm really excited to dig into these two computers here, specifically the XT system as well as the Sun system. Really excited to do those. Go ahead and relive my childhood dream of really wanting MiniDisc. I can't wait to do a video on that, and maybe some others incorporating some of these items on that you see here in the Thrift Find video today. And hopefully everybody enjoyed this. I'm really looking forward to hearing down below in the comments from everybody about your experiences, if you had any of these, specifically around the XT and the Sun computers. I really want to do videos on those and really get some feedback on the channel around those as well. That said, if you like today's video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. 65% of the viewers are not subscribed. If you subscribe, it really tells YouTube you like what you're seeing, really helps the channel grow, helps that YouTube algorithm stuff. Please hit that notification button, change it to all. You'll be notified of new content such as this. Please leave a comment down below. As I mentioned, do you have any experience with these systems here on the bench, or have you owned any of these items? I really want to hear all the experiences down below. I try to instill nostalgia in all the viewers, and hopefully this is doing the trick with some of these items. Please leave a comment down below. I respond to absolutely every one of them. Always making new content. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.